Incredible act of kindness. Black boy shares meal with elderly couple, discover how his life changed forever. In a bustling diner in Ohio, 12-year-old Jamal's smile sparkled like sunlight. Every Saturday, he swept the floors of the Silver Spoon and decorated it with a warmth that made even strangers feel like family. The air was thick with the aroma of fried chicken, a scent that danced around the laughter of regular customers enjoying their midday meals. But Jamal knew there was one couple who needed a little extra sunshine, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson. Old and wise, their laughter was infectious, and their spirit of togetherness ignited a warmth in Jamal's heart. On one particularly busy Saturday, the diner was alive with families and kids enjoying the weekend. Jamal was racing between tables, clearing dishes and offering refills. The Thompsons sat at their usual booth in the corner, their cheeks creased with laughter. But today something felt off. Jamal noticed their hands fumble over the last few coins they had. Worry etched across their faces. With no hesitation, Jamal reached into his backpack and pulled out the homemade sandwich his mother had packed for his own lunch. "Here, Mr. Thompson," he said, his hand trembling slightly as he passed the wrap filled with turkey and cheese. "You can have this." The sparkle in Mr. Thompson's eye told Jamal everything he needed to know. "You are a kind boy, Jamal." "Bless you," he replied, freshly touched. That small act changed everything. In return, Jamal found himself drawn into a world of stories filled with heroism and heart, tales from their time as World War II veterans. Each story painted vividly in Jamal's mind felt like a lifeline, a reminder that struggle was a part of life, and hope endured. It resonated with his own family's financial difficulties, illuminating what truly mattered. But the burden of expectation weighed heavily on Jamal. His family held dreams for him, dreams of football glory and college scholarships. Yet, each practice felt suffocating at times. As he bonded with the Thompsons, his heart expanded, teaching him that success wasn't just about trophies but about connection and care. But then everything shifted. One ordinary afternoon at the diner, just as laughter filled the air, Jamal's world toppled. Mr. Thompson suddenly collapsed. Panic erupted. Jamal's heart raced. Should he focus on football drills that could lead to a better life, or stand by the Thompsons who had become like family? His breath caught in his throat, two paths pulling him apart. As the community rallied around the Thompsons, organizing a fundraiser to support them, two competing invitations arrived at his doorstep. A college recruiting event, a golden chance, and the fundraiser, which felt like the call of family. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you could drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The day of the fundraiser was a whirlwind. Laughter and shared memories echoed through the diner, enveloping Jamal in a cloud of warmth. As he stood watching the Thompsons surrounded by friends and family, he felt the tug of the college invitation burn in his pocket. But was that really success? Just as he resolved to stand by their side, he overheard murmurs that made him question everything. What does it mean to be a hero in your community? Jamal's heart clenched as he felt that pivotal moment pull at his very essence, leaving him wondering if he could truly redefine success through kindness and loyalty, or if he would get lost chasing a dream that others had created for him. As the afternoon sun dipped lower in the sky, painting the diner in shades of orange and gold, Jamal's resolve began to solidify. The chatter hummed around him, but his mind replayed the faces of Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, now filled with warmth and laughter, eager to share stories that were waiting just for him. The thought of stepping away from that to chase a dream felt like abandoning a lifeline. He took a deep breath and stepped closer to the couple, who were telling tales of their youth again, the room buzzing with nostalgia. Jamal listened intently, soaking in their wisdom. Mr. Thompson gestured animatedly, his voice rising above the noise. "You see, Jamal, we fought for something bigger than ourselves. It was never about us. It was about everyone who needed help," he said, his eyes brightening with every word. Jamal nodded, feeling an understanding bloom within him. He longed to show the same bravery and commitment to his community. The weight of the college invitation didn't disappear, but he started to view it through a different lens. It wasn't just a ticket to individual success. It was a stepping stone that could enable him to help others, too. Suddenly, a little voice pulled him back to the moment. Jamal. It was Mia, one of his classmates, her face flushed with excitement, holding a sign she'd made a collage of photos celebrating the Thompsons' life. Look what we put together for them. They're so inspiring. Jamal watched as several kids gathered around, sharing stories, laughter, and the genuine joy that echoed through the diner. The fundraising efforts had united the community, creating a force of love and support. Jamal felt warmth flood through him. This was the essence of community. This was what mattered. Yet, doubt crept in as the inviting envelope in his pocket grew heavier. Would the rush of college life with all its promise overshadow the connections he'd built? Just at that moment, Nina, a familiar face who worked across the street, approached him. Her eyes sparkled with determination. I heard you're juggling offers, Jamal. But following the heart often leads to surprising places. Her words struck a chord. Jamal's heart pounded in response. He could almost hear the echoes of the Thompsons' laughter beckoning him to stay true to himself. As the night wore on, the fundraiser transformed the diner into a beacon of hope and joy. He witnessed the impact of his choice and the grateful smiles that lit up the Thompsons' faces. They were no longer just a couple from the diner. They were part of his family. Felt good, really good, to know that he could make a difference. But before he knew it, a shadow of fear swept over him. The invitation was still there, dangling on the edge of his mind. It promised success but also hinted at loneliness. Could he take the leap into a world that seemed so solitary? Or should he stay, embracing the warmth and belonging he'd found with the Thompsons? As the lights dimmed and the last laughter echoed into silence, Jamal stood on the brink of a decision that could shape his future. Would he choose the secure path or embrace the love he had cultivated? As he looked toward the doorway where his dreams awaited him, he felt the urge to reach out to the Thompsons, to let them know they mattered. But could he articulate that without losing sight of his own dreams? The moment was ripe with possibility, and as Jamal inhaled deeply, he realized that sometimes the heart knows best, even when the future feels uncertain. Would he have the courage to follow where it led? The answer loomed just out of reach, waiting to be discovered. The hum of chatter faded as Jamal watched Mr. and Mrs. Thompson share a knowing glance across the table. Their eyes sparkled with nostalgia as they reminisced about the simpler days, and for a moment, he felt as if he were witnessing a rare, beautiful dance, a routine they had performed countless times before, but each time it seemed new and enchanting. Mia's excited voice pulled him back. Jamal, come help us with the final touches. She was waving him over to the table where the sign was set up, its glossy surface reflecting the warm lights of the diner. The sign was a vibrant tapestry of photos. Mr. Thompson's younger self digging in the community garden, Mrs. Thompson laughing at a school event. Feeling the tug of joy on his heartstrings, he joined the group. They laughed as they drew little hearts and stars around the pictures. Jamal felt a swell of pride for being part of this, for showing the Thompsons that their lives made a difference. Just as they were about to unveil the sign, the diner door swung open, and a gust of wind filled the room, shushing the laughter momentarily. In stepped a local news reporter, her camera swiveling toward the lively gathering. The moment felt charged with possibility. "Excuse me, everyone," she called out, her voice cutting through the chatter as she approached Jamal and his friends. "I heard there's something special happening here tonight. Mind if I grab a few interviews?" Jamal's heart raced. Being on the news was something he'd always thought of as an achievement, not something he ever imagined would happen in a setting like this. His mind flickered over the invitation in his pocket. This moment of connection was something school couldn't teach. As they shared their stories and the significance of the fundraiser, the reporter's eyes sparkled with admiration. "You're all doing something really beautiful," she said. "It's community at its finest. Can you tell me what this means to you, Jamal?" The spotlight was suddenly on him. Jamal swallowed hard, feeling his heart pound in his throat. He took a breath, weight of the envelope heavy beside him. It means we can change lives," he said, feeling the strength of each word. "Sometimes it feels like we're just kids, but in moments like this, it feels like we're ready to carry the world together." The applause and cheers erupted, echoing in every corner of the diner. Jamal felt a warmth spread through him, a sense of validation he had long searched for. It wasn't just about lifting up the Thompsons. It was about lifting up the very community he had grown up in. As the evening continued, he caught snippets of conversations around him, laughter and joy blooming like the fresh flowers in spring. The Thompsons smiled at Jamal, their pride evident. But as his gaze drifted to the door, to the world outside waiting for him, doubt crept back in. Could he really balance this? The love he felt here, the tangible change around him versus the world beyond his reach? The question lingered in his mind like a stubborn fog, refusing to lift. Jamal's heart was torn between the comfort of community and the thrill of chasing his dreams. As the final hours of the fundraiser rolled on, he stood at the crossroads of hope and fear, wondering if he would find the courage to embrace both. He needed to decide, was his future meant to be built here among friends and family, or was it calling him elsewhere? Just as the thought settled, Mrs. Thompson approached, placing a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Jamal dear, I have something to ask you." The tenderness in her voice sent an electric jolt through him, and he felt his heart leap at her words. What could she possibly want to know? The answer he'd been seeking fluttered just out of reach, as uncertainty circled like a hawk. Would she offer him insight, wisdom, or perhaps even an unexpected choice that could shape his path? Jamal turned to face Mrs. Thompson, the warmth of her touch grounding him amidst the whirlwind of emotions swirling in his mind. Her eyes were a rich brown, filled with the kind of understanding that only comes from years of experience. He noticed the laughter lines around her mouth deepened as she smiled softly, as if she had seen 100 crossroads in her life, each offering its own unique lesson. "Jamal," she began, her voice barely above a whisper, "you have a bright future ahead of you. I see so much potential in you." Her words hung in the air, carrying a weight that felt like a promise and a challenge all at once. His heart raced, partly from her praise but mainly from the pressure of living up to it. "Thank you, Mrs. Thompson." He shifted from foot to foot, trying to hide the flush creeping up his cheeks. "That means a lot to me. But more than anything," she continued, "I want you to remember what is truly important. It's not just where you go, but who you take along with you. The people who believe in you." The truth in her words echoed like a soft bell ringing in the quiet of his mind. He thought about his friends, the way they had rallied together for the fundraiser. It wasn't just about the money they raised, it was about the community they had built. Each friendly face felt like a thread weaving into a colorful tapestry of support and love. Just then, Mr. Thompson joined them, offering a thumbs up to the group busy at the sign. "It warms my heart to see so many caring souls together," he said, his voice booming with pride. Jamal could feel the sense of belonging thickening around him, and he smiled as those warm feelings pushed against the gnawing doubt at the back of his mind. "Jamal," Mr. Thompson said, his tone becoming more serious, "you have a chance to be part of something bigger than yourself. Sometimes the hardest decisions are the ones that ultimately bring the most happiness." His heart raced as he considered Mr. Thompson's words. Could he really balance leaving while still staying connected? The question hung over him, heavy and pressing. There was a moment of silence, and Jamal could see the worry in the Thompsons' eyes, a reflection of the struggle he himself felt. "If you have an opportunity," Mrs. Thompson added, her voice soft yet resolute, "don't waste it. But remember, that opportunity doesn't have to mean leaving us behind." Her gaze was steady, and Jamal could feel the undercurrent of support in her words. A wave of realization washed over him. Maybe it was possible to pursue his dreams while still honoring where he came from. He thought about his plans for the future, how they could uplift not only him but those around him too. Inspiration ignited within him, but just as quickly, fear threatened to snuff it out. What if the choice meant losing the very essence of himself? The atmosphere around him shifted slightly as the fundraiser continued to buzz with laughter and joy. Mia laughed nearby, and Jamal found solace in her carefree spirit. But then the door swung open again, and a chill swept through the diner. He turned instinctively, his stomach sinking as he saw a slender figure framed in the door. It was Clara, the girl from school who'd always been a step ahead of everyone else, the already successful junior who just won a scholarship. Her presence was electric, and as she scanned the room, Jamal felt invisible under her gaze. Clara was everything he aspired to be, and her confidence only magnified the uncertainty swirling within him. As she stepped inside, her eyes landed on Jamal, and he could see a flicker of recognition. Would she offer him a way forward? Or would she remind him of the daunting path ahead? One he feared could lead him away from the people who mattered most. Suddenly, the chatter around them faded, and Jamal felt the world narrow down to a single moment, a choice that could change everything. What would happen next? Clara walked in, her presence shifting the energy of the room. Jamal felt the weight of her gaze pin him in place. Everything else faded into a muted backdrop. Mia's laughter and the pleasant chatter seemed distant now, as if they were echoes from another time. "Hey Jamal," Clara called, her voice bright and inviting. It was a strange mix of warmth and confidence that drew people in. In a few quick steps she was standing in front of him, the noise of the fundraiser swirling around them. "Congratulations on the scholarship," he managed to say, his voice barely above a whisper, laced with admiration. He felt a pang of envy, a desire to be where she was, standing on a precipice of opportunity. "Thanks. It's exciting but a little scary too," she replied, a hint of vulnerability playing in her eyes. For a moment he saw beyond her success, sensing the pressure she felt to shine even brighter. Their eyes locked and Jamal's heart raced at the thought of the crossroads before him. "How do you handle it?" he asked, both out of curiosity and a desperate need for guidance. Clara shrugged, her gaze drifting for a moment toward the group of kids nearby, huddled together like a family. "I focus on my friends and my family. They keep me grounded," she said, her voice softening. "But I also chase after what I want. You should too. You're more than capable." Her words sparked a flicker of hope within him, yet the shadows of doubt cast by fears loomed large. "But what if chasing after my dreams means leaving everyone behind? What if I lose them?" The question slipped out before he could rein it in, a testament to the tumult that churned within him. Clara's brows furrowed, and she stepped a little closer. "You don't have to think of it that way. You can grow and still hold on to the people you love. You're part of a community. That doesn't vanish just because you aim higher." Jamal considered this, heart fluttering at the thought. What if he could be a bridge between his dreams and his roots? The realization felt like a small ember igniting in a dark room. Suddenly a loud cheer penetrated the air. The group at the sign had just unveiled their total funds raised for the fundraiser, much higher than anyone had anticipated. The room erupted into joyous applause, and Jamal felt a rush of pride swell as he caught sight of Mia and the others celebrating. "See," Clara smiled, pointing to the group. "Moments like this remind you of what you're fighting for. It's all connected." Her enthusiasm was infectious, and Jamal felt his own smile blossom. He glanced back at the Thompsons, who were beaming with pride, surrounded by friends who had come together. Felt right. But then his gaze returned to Clara, and a new unease crept in. Should he even consider reaching out to a girl like her? The fear of rejection nipped at him. As if sensing his hesitation, Clara lightly touched his arm, a gesture that sent a jolt of energy through him. "You can do this, Jamal. I believe in you." He blinked at her, searching for some sign of mockery, but all he found was sincerity. It was overwhelming and yet liberating. "I'll try," Jamal said finally, the words filling him with a sense of determination he hadn't known he could muster. Just then Mrs. Thompson's voice rose above the crowd again, calling for everyone's attention. "Let us take a moment to reflect on how far we've come together, and where we want to go next. Remember, this is just the beginning." As she continued, he felt a bubbling excitement. Could he really blend his aspiration with the community he loved? And yet, as if in answer to that question, a server stumbled near the entrance, causing a commotion. Glasses clattered, and people gasped as they turned to see what had happened. Jamal's pulse quickened, the thrill of the fundraiser suddenly forgotten. What if this moment led to something unexpected? What if it changed everything all over again? Jamal's heart raced as he turned toward the noise. The clatter of glasses shattered the celebratory atmosphere, transforming joy into concern. He saw the server, an older man, kneeling on the floor, surrounded by splashes of drink and broken plates. The crowd fell silent for a moment, uncertainty hanging in the air. What just happened? Someone whispered near him, eyes wide with shock. Jamal felt the urge to help, but a paralyzing fear clenched his chest. Would he be brave enough to step forward? Clara's presence beside him steadied him. "We've got to do something," she said, her voice a steady anchor. As if released from a spell, Several guests surged forward. Jamal watched as a few adults rushed to help the server gather the mess, while others offered comforting words. He could sense Clara's eyes still fixed on him, urging him silently. Taking a deep breath, he moved closer to the scene. "Are you okay?" he asked the man, who looked up, embarrassment flooding his face. The server reached for a napkin, shaking slightly. "I'm fine, just a bit of a mishap," he replied. But Jamal could see the strain in his shoulders. Clara moved to join him, letting Jamal take the lead. "Here, let us help," she said, kneeling beside him, already gathering the shards of glass. Jamal matched her movements, and slowly, they started to clean up the space, returning pieces of order to the chaotic moment. As they worked, Jamal could feel the tension start to lift. From the group nearby, Mia stepped forward, a warm smile breaking across her face. "You both are amazing. This is what community looks like," she cheered, prompting nods and murmurs of agreement from the onlookers. Jamal glanced at Clara, who beamed with a mix of pride and encouragement. He felt a tingle of warmth at her acknowledgement, realizing they fought this battle together. They helped the server to his feet, dusting him off and assuring him it was all right. "Thanks for helping out," he murmured, a grateful smile breaking through his embarrassment. "I just didn't see the table edge. It happens to the best of us," Clara replied softly, her eyes bright, reflecting gratitude and belief in Jamal. In this small act of kindness, Jamal felt something shift within him. Here was a moment to lean into vulnerability, to connect with his community rather than hide away from it. As the server shuffled back to his duties, a buzz of energy enveloped the room once more. Applause erupted, not just for the raised funds but for the unity shown in the face of a mishap. Jamal felt lighter inside, inspired by their shared spirit. "See," Clara said, flashing a smile that seemed to illuminate the dim corners of his doubt. "You can make a difference. Even the smallest act matters." Fueled by her words, he turned towards the crowd, suddenly facing the unknown with newfound courage. "We should all look out for each other," he declared, surprising even himself. The faces around him lit up, nodding in agreement. Just then, Jamal caught sight of the Thompsons, who watched with pride shining in their eyes. Clara squeezed his arm gently. "You're already a part of this, Jamal. Just keep going." But in the back of his mind, unrest began to stir again. Could he really be the person he wanted to be? What came next? What if he could do more? As he felt the warmth of Clara's belief in him, another loud cheer erupted, cutting through his thoughts. He turned toward the stage, where Mrs. Thompson was calling forward another surprise, a scholarship announcement, this time for someone from the community. Jamal's heart raced with a mixture of anticipation and fear. He felt an impending decision pressing on him. Would he seize this moment to step into the role he wanted to play? And just like that, he stood at yet another crossroads, the air thick with possibility. He glanced back at Clara, eyes wide. Was this his chance? Would he find the courage he needed to take that leap? Jamal's breath caught in his throat as Mrs. Thompson's voice rang out, echoing in the room. Her words painted pictures of dreams and futures, tinged with the sweet, unyielding hope each person carried. The scholarship she was about to announce felt like a lifeline. He could almost feel the weight of collective anticipation, heavy yet electric. Years ago, Mrs. Thompson began, her eyes scanning the audience. This scholarship was created to support young people willing to make a difference in their communities. Jamal's heart pounded louder, each thud synchronizing with the flickering lights as heads turned towards him, the excitement brewing thickly around him. He caught Mia's gaze. She had been his cheerleader since their childhood, and her encouragement flooded him with warmth. Clara leaned closer, her whisper brushing against his ear. "What if it's you? You've got this." The sincerity in her eyes gave him strength. Mrs. Thompson continued, "This year's recipient has demonstrated service, kindness, and the determination to uplift others." Jamal's mind raced, darting between self-doubt and an overwhelming need to believe he could fit into that narrative. "And the scholarship goes to," the room fell silent, anticipation hanging like thick fog. Jamal felt each heartbeat reverberate through his entire being. Jamal, for his commitment to his community and his spirit of generosity. The world cracked wide open in that moment. Applause erupted like thunder, drowning out his thoughts. Clara was on her feet, cheering louder than anyone else. From his corner, Jamal caught glimpses of the Thompsons' approving nods and smiles. He was rising almost weightlessly, swept by the tide of community. He stood, half in disbelief, half bursting with emotion, his hands trembling slightly as he made his way toward the stage. Thank you so much," he stammered as he accepted the certificate and check from Mrs. Thompson. The cheers mingled with his own disbelief, rippling through the audience. He was enveloped in a sea of supportive faces, each one reflecting possibilities he had once thought were out of reach. As he turned to take in the crowd, a figure in the back caught his eye, the server from earlier. He looked different now, standing tall, his cheeks flushed with a renewed sense of pride. Jamal recognized that expression. It mirrored the way he felt. They were both part of something bigger, something meaningful. He raised his hand to acknowledge the server, a silent promise to carry this moment with him. Everyone in the room felt it. They shared in the triumph, the beauty of being uplifted and supporting one another. It made the world outside feel a little less daunting. Jamal turned back to the crowd, the hum of certainty washing over him. He felt Clara's warmth beside him, her arm linking through his, grounding him. "You did it," she whispered, awe apparent in her tone. But beneath the cheers and smiles, a question lingered in his heart. What did this mean for him now? The award sparked a need to do more, to be more. The community looked to him as someone who could inspire. He hadn't just earned a scholarship. He had opened a door to potential. As the applause began to fade into a rhythmic hum, he turned his gaze to Clara again, uncertainty creeping in. "What if they expect more from me now?" he murmured. Clara smiled, her eyes gleaming with that same trust she'd shown him before. "Then you'll give them more. And we'll do it together." But as Jamal stood there, his heart thumping wildly, the overwhelming weight of expectation settled in his chest. Could he rise to the occasion and continue to support those around him? The room filled with laughter and celebration, but deep down Jamal felt a storm brewing. He stood on the edge of a new beginning, ready to leap into the unknown. Would this be his moment to truly shine, or would he falter under the pressure? The possibilities loomed large, filled with both hope and doubt. And as he faced the gathering crowd, the question lingered. How could he transform this opportunity into something extraordinary? For himself and his community? Jamal stepped off the stage, still buzzing from the announcement. The cheers melted away, but the overwhelming sense of expectation remained, tugging at him like a persistent ghost. He scanned the room, still filled with familiar faces, but now they were tinged with a new brightness. Each person beamed, eyes sparkling with pride. But beneath their smiles, Jamal felt a strange mix of exhilaration and fear. "Hey, you okay?" Mia asked, worry flickering in her voice as she approached him. She pulled him into a gentle hug. "You did it. This is your moment." "Yeah, it just feels like a lot," he replied, trying to mask the weight pressing on his chest. The truth was he wanted to do this for his community, to be the person they believed he could be. But doubt still whispered in the corners of his mind. What if I can't live up to it? Don't even go there. Mia's tone was firm, her eyes locking onto his. You've always cared about helping others. You didn't just win for yourself. You won for everyone. Remember all those weekends we spent volunteering? This is just the beginning. Her words sparked something inside him, a flicker of confidence that tried to push through the cloud of uncertainty. But even as he smiled at her, a voice in the back of his mind countered, "It's not enough." Clara joined them, her enthusiasm still bubbling over. "Jamal, what do you want to do next? We could start a project together, something big." Her eyes danced with ideas, painting visions of joy and change that swirled around them. "Maybe a mentorship program?" Mia suggested. "You could help younger kids in the neighborhood just like you were helped." For a moment, Jamal felt a surge of warmth at the thought. He had been mentored just as many others had. But then a shadow crossed his heart. But what if I can't connect with them? What if I fail? The weight pressed heavier, and the thrill from earlier started to fade. "Okay, listen," Clara began, her voice softening. "What if instead of thinking about failure, you think about where you started? You've been through struggles. You've overcome them. That makes you relatable. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up." He took a deep breath, stirring against the tide of negativity. Relatable. Yes, that sparked something. The trio was suddenly interrupted by the bustling sounds of celebration. as guests moved toward the refreshments in excited clusters. Jamal's gaze drifted to the now emptied stage, his name still reverberating through the air like an echo of possibility. Each word from Mrs. Thompson lingered, wrapping around him like a banner. "I don't know if I'm ready," he admitted, feeling vulnerable. Clara squeezed his hand. "You will be. The fact that you're even thinking about these things shows you care. That alone is enough to inspire." Just then, Jamal spotted the server again, the man who had caught his eye earlier. This time he appeared less like a familiar face and more like a guardian of dreams, his own eyes reflecting a quiet resolve. Jamal felt an urge to approach him, to share the moment, to bridge the gap between their experiences. The server had been a part of something important too in his own way. Taking a step toward him, Jamal called out, "Hey, thank you for being here tonight. I really needed that support." The server turned, surprise flickering across his features. A smile broke out. "No thank you. You didn't just earn that scholarship. You gave us all hope." Jamal felt a swell of emotion, a connection sparking between them. In that moment, the weight on his shoulders lifted slightly. Hope had this way of spreading. As the night wore on and conversations flowed, the night turned into a blurred mix of laughter and dreams shared. Jamal began to see pieces of what his future could hold. What if he leaned into this? What if he opened the door wider, not just for himself, but for everyone waiting behind it? In that heartbeat of inspiration, he realized he didn't have to do it alone. With Mia and Clara by his side, maybe he could weave a thread of change throughout the community. But as excitement stirred within him, Jamal couldn't shake a persistent thought. What if the real challenge hadn't even started yet? Would he be able to summon enough courage when the pressure increased? The night was alive with potential, but Jamal knew this was only the beginning. What incredible act of kindness could he conjure up next, and how would it transform not only his life, but the lives of others around him? The laughter rang out, merging with the clinking of cups and the faint thrum of music in the background. Jamal felt buoyed by the energy, a warm glow spreading in his chest as he looked around at the faces depicted in eager anticipation. The sparkle in their eyes made him feel like he was standing on the edge of something monumental. But doubt stirred just beneath that exhilaration. As Clara and Mia chatted nearby, he took a moment to breathe, letting the atmosphere wash over him. Felt safe. Yet the weight was still there, a reminder of the expectations he now carried. He thought about those younger kids he could potentially mentor. The vision filled with potential, yet a nagging uncertainty lingered. What if he couldn't reach them? What if he didn't know what to say? "Watch out, superstar," Mia teased, but her grin revealed her sincerity. "We need to get you some air, or you'll explode with all that energy." "Yeah, or I might just fall apart," he chuckled, shaking his head. But she was right. Getting outside for a breath of fresh air sounded like a solid plan. They stepped out onto the balcony, the cool night air swirling around them. Stars twinkled above, and Jamal found comfort in their steadiness. He leaned against the railing, looking down at the lights of the city that felt like endless possibilities. "Are you really ready for this?" Mia asked, her voice dropping to a softer note. "I mean, the mentorship and everything. You seem a little overwhelmed." He sighed, staring out at the horizon. "I want to be. I really do. But what if I mess it all up? What if they look to me and I don't have the answers?" Clara came beside him, her presence warm and grounding. "You don't have to have all the answers, Jamal. Do you remember Mr. Peterson? He didn't act like he had it all figured out either. He just showed up. Honestly, that's the most important thing. Being there for them." Jamal's heart twisted at the thought. Mr. Peterson had been a beacon of hope, always willing to listen, always honest about his own failures. Maybe being open about his struggles could bridge that gap he feared. "Yeah, Mr. Peterson," Jamal murmured, a flicker of courage igniting inside him. "He made us feel heard. If I can do that even a little—" "Exactly," Clara assured him, her sincerity wrapping around him like a warm blanket. "Let them see the real you. That's what connects." They lingered in companionable silence, breathing in the moment, each second stretching deliciously long. But then a commotion from behind them broke through the tranquility. A group of kids had gathered near the entrance, their laughter blending with shouts of excitement, and Jamal recognized them instantly. "Hey, isn't that the group we used to volunteer with?" Mia asked, eyes gleaming. Jamal's heart raced. This was his chance, an unexpected opportunity. Yeah, I think so. He felt a rush of emotion wash over him. Those kids represented a part of his past, a mirror reflecting everything he hoped to achieve. What if we invite them over? Mia suggested, her enthusiasm matching his. Introduce them to you as the scholarship winner. No, wait, Jamal held back a moment, nerves creeping in again. What if they don't see me as one of them anymore? What if they think I'm just some scholarship kid? Mia caught his arm, her grip fierce. But that's not the truth, Jamal. You're still you. And you've got a chance to show them that they can be where you are one day. His insides twisted once more, excitement battling with doubt. Yet something in Mia's eyes sparked conviction. Well, Clara nudged, grinning. What is stopping you? Go for it. With shaky confidence, Jamal turned toward the kids. He could do this, save the moment, take a step forward. As he approached the gaggle of voices and brightening faces, he felt a thrill rushing through him. It was more than an act of kindness. It could become a bridge to his community. But just as he reached the group, he spotted a familiar face, someone he hadn't expected to see tonight. A girl named Aisha from his old school. Her expression both curious and questioning, like she held a secret. What revelation was hiding in her eyes? Was it hope? Or something deeper? He needed to know. Hey Aisha, he called, the urgency rising in his chest. You won't believe what's happening. And with that, his heart began a wild dance of possibility. What would she say? In that moment he realized the night was still a canvas, waiting for new strokes of color. The journey ahead might just be the wildest ride yet. The night was electric. Jamal stood amongst the crowd, grappling with the weight of hope and expectation. He had always been driven, but now, with his scholarship in hand and Clara's unwavering support, he felt buoyed by a sense of purpose. Aisha's reaction was still a mystery, leaving him teetering on the edge of vulnerability and determination. Jamal. Aisha's voice pierced through his thoughts. As she approached, her face lit up, and Jamal felt a rush of warmth spread through him. I can't believe you actually did it. You won. That's amazing. Thanks. It's a bit surreal, to be honest, he replied, a nervous smile brimming on his lips. I still can't fully believe it. What's next for you? Aisha asked, her brows raising inquisitively. There was something in her tone, a curiosity mixed with admiration, that made his heart race. Jamal inhaled deeply, feeling the energy of the room swirl around him. Well, I was thinking maybe about starting a mentorship program, he admitted hesitantly. For younger kids in the community. I want them to know they can achieve their dreams too. Aisha's eyes widened with excitement, her smile reaching ear to ear. That sounds incredible. You have what it takes to inspire them. Just imagine how many lives you could change. Jamal felt a rush of confidence at her words. Perhaps this wasn't just a dream he was chasing. It was a mission rooted in connection, a thread weaving him back into the very fabric of his community. Suddenly the idea didn't feel daunting. It felt daring and right? He beamed, glancing at Clara and Mia, who were listening nearby, their encouraging nods feeding his growing courage. I just want to give back what I've received. The chatter around them faded into the background as Jamal shared his visions of after-school programs, storytelling sessions, and mentorship circles where kids could come together, share experiences, and learn from one another. In that moment he felt the delicious thrill of possibility. You should talk to Mrs. Thompson, Aisha suggested, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. She has always been a champion for community projects. At the mention of Mrs. Thompson, Jamal's heart swelled with gratitude. She had been a guiding light in his life, encouraging him to embrace his potential. You're right, he nodded. I'll definitely ask her. As the night wore on, laughter and love filled the diner. Jamal moved from one conversation to another, energized by the encouragement from his friends and family. He shared ideas and dreams, and before long, a group of kids huddled around him, wide-eyed and eager to learn about his journey and what lay ahead. Each interaction felt like a thread weaving together the tapestry of his community, a beautiful mosaic of shared dreams and heartfelt ambitions. And it struck him how the kindness he had shown to the Thompsons had reverberated back to him, creating ripples that would extend far beyond that small diner. Finally gathering his closest friends, Jamal explained his vision. What if we all work on this mentorship project together? He asked, his eyes shining. We don't have to do it alone. We can create a team, inspire each other, and lift those kids up together. Absolutely, Mia exclaimed, and Clara's face lit up with excitement. We can plan workshops, activities, even bring in guest speakers. This can be our legacy. The weight of expectation began to melt away, giving way to a sense of belonging, purpose, and determination. The struggles he had faced were not just his own, but shared, and together they could carve a path forward for those who needed it most. Then a gentle poke on his shoulder snapped him back. It was Mr. Thompson, his eyes twinkling with pride. Jamal, I just wanted to say your heart grows with every selfless act. What you're doing here, it's profoundly inspiring. The future is brighter with you in it. Tears pricked at Jamal's eyes, mixing gratitude with realization. He wasn't just stepping into his own greatness. He was bringing others along with him. The dance of life was all about connection. It was about family and support and love. Success wasn't defined merely by accolades but by how many hands you could hold along the way. With night transitioning into early dawn, Jamal felt a new beginning unfurling before him. He looked around, the laughter, the conversations. All of it was a reminder of how interconnectedness fueled growth. In that brightening sky, he noticed hope blossoming like flowers in spring. We should take a picture, Aisha exclaimed, grabbing a nearby phone. The spontaneous idea ignited a buzz, and they all squeezed in, laughter bubbling amidst the click of the camera. As the flash lit up the moment, Jamal felt alive, surrounded by love and support. The worries, the doubts, all of it faded into a background hum. And in that snapshot he realized he was not alone. He belonged to something grander than himself, a community that had molded him, and would continue to do so. Standing there, hand in hand with his friends and community, Jamal understood that each act of kindness, big or small, could change lives. The future was stepping into being, an open road filled with opportunities. And no matter his journey, he was ready to embrace it with an open heart. This is your moment. You need to subscribe right now to catch our next exclusive stories. Leave a like, it truly helps us out, feeding that all-important algorithm. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this inspiring ending. And wait not even one more second, share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Only true fans understand how crucial it is to support the channel through these actions.